Awesome. But I do just want to say, what are we going to be doing here today? Well, really the majority of the time spent today, we're going to be creating a winning quoting and proposal. So whether you call it a quote or proposal, I always like to throw them both out there, but we say proposal. So that's what we mean when we're saying that. But we're going to go through that workflow. So that's going to take the majority of the time. And I'll preface this once we dive in, but basically what you'll see me doing, I'll be building it as a proposal, but it can literally be an itinerary. So if you don't use this for every proposal process and you just start it once it's booked, it'll literally be the same way. So it'll work both ways. But then I will show you how to convert that into an itinerary. So if you do go through the proposal process, just basically showing you what does it look like for your client? What is the experience they see? So we'll talk about that. And then I also want to talk about how you can market trips using Travefy as well, because especially for cruises, as you'll see as I'm going through this, it's really easy to put together like an itinerary of a cruise that just looks super cool. And so why not market it? So I will show you a couple different ways. And actually on that, I am going to, after this, do something we've never done before. First time is I'm going to jump on Facebook Live on the Travefy Facebook page, and I am going to dive in even further into how you can market cruises with landing pages. So that way, you know, if we get too close to time, we're able to get to Q&A, and then I'll hop there after.
So after you disembark this webinar, please join our complimentary excursion over on our Facebook group right after this with your guide leader, Stephanie.
Captain Steezy.
Captain Steezy.
I know. I need a captain hat. We need to get captain hats.
We should have got that.
I know. Next time, everyone.
Like good old Captain Lou.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I love everyone. I see what you did.
Throw your hand up. Throw your hand up if you know who Captain Lou is.
Yeah.
Shout out to Captain Lou.
Yes, Captain Lou, shout out. Haven't seen him for a couple years, so maybe we'll see him at some conferences coming up. We will see.
Love it.
but no, it's gonna be great. Keep those puns rolling in, everyone. If you think of it, throw it in, because it's good content. It's so good. And then the other thing I want to mention before we go further is this is being recorded. So we will have this recording. Oh, it's going swimmingly. Perfect.
Love
yes.
It. And we're diving in. Shall we embark on this?
Yes.
Voyage?
Yes, we shall. Oh, so good. Love it. But no, so we will record. We're recording all these puns, first of all. So that's good. That's number one. We're doing what we should. But I will also put this on our YouTube channel. So it will be there. It'll just take like maybe an hour or two. But if you have to hop off this in the middle, if you go back to your Zoom registration, once we're done, you'll actually be able to watch the recording right away. So really fun little tip there. So if that does happen, get a client call, totally fine. You can go watch it right away. And then of course, Q&A as well. Drop your questions in the Q&A. Try to use the Q&A panel if you want to use the chat there too, but sometimes it's just easier for really Scott to manage the Q&A because he'll be back there helping. But then we'll try to get to as many questions as we can at the end. But if we don't get to your question, know that our support team is ready to go. Just email them professional@travefy.com or chat them in your account, and they can help you out too. So all that fun stuff. Oh, there's one more thing I forgot to say. Okay, so before we actually dive in is
set sail. Before we set sail, we have some things to go over. I always like to show this slide because there's a lot of tools in Travefy that unfortunately we just don't have time to talk about all today. And so I always like to show this because if you are new to Travefy, this is everything we have to offer, which this all is included in an account in your subscription. So none of this is like an extra add-on at all. So you already have access to this if you do have Travefy already. But basically, you know, those main tools, itineraries, proposals, we're going to talk about those today. So we will touch on those today. Our CRM and like tasks and reminders, we won't get to as much today. I might slide in tasks just for a pro tip in between something happening, but the CRM, that is available so you can keep client contact information all in one place. And then we also have the ability to create forms. So you can create a form for anything. And the forms that we also provide that credit card authorization, which is PCI compliant, safe and secure. So that's really popular, you know, using that tool as well. And then finally, the website and landing page builder, which we will talk about today, but that will be really covered in the Facebook Live after this. It's one of my absolute favorite features of all time. So I love sharing that. So we will get into that one, but it will just be after this, bonus content. But okay. So that was all I needed to do. So I needed to get all that out of the way. So now we can officially set sail. I really need to get, I need like the horn. I need the horn sound, but everybody knows, you know where I'm going with this. Yeah. You know the sound. So, okay. Okay. All jokes aside, here we go. This is real now. Okay. So first thing I want to do here is I want to start off with a proposal. Now, again, remember, as I'm building this is literally the same way you would build a booked trip. So if you're like, I don't really need to send proposals or quotes, that's okay. What I'm doing, you'd still use the same way. So keep that in mind. Now, I do always like to show the difference between what a proposal is versus an itinerary, because when you get in your account, you can see here that you have the option to click new trip, and you can either choose itinerary or proposal. But honestly, you can choose either or because it's going to look the same in the inside. So if you choose the wrong one, it is okay, because when you do create a trip, you can always just click on it. And then on the right-hand side, you can change the type. So just know that if you accidentally choose the wrong one when you're getting it set up, it's okay. You can change it back. But really the difference is how it's going to look to your client. A proposal is going to allow your client to approve it, where an itinerary is going to give them the options to download the app, get a PDF copy of it. So you'll see that as we go. We'll walk through that whole process together, but that's really the big difference between those two. So with that, I'm going to choose proposal here. So I'm going to say new trip and proposal. And here we are in a brand new trip with a beautiful dog in it. So we will update this because there's a couple of customizations you can do just to start off the bat here. So the first thing, I am in my trip builder here. And the first thing you can do is you can change the cover photo. Love the dog. There is water behind him, it looks like. But for this example trip, our clients, they're interested in going to the Mediterranean. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click change cover photo. Now we have thousands of free stock photos that you can choose from here. And you can just drop in a term, like I'm going to use the keyword Mediterranean, but you could use like ocean, beach, whatever you want, a destination. You also can, of course, upload your own photo, pull from a website, copy. So you'll get to see that in action here in a bit, but just knowing, getting that cover photo, I always recommend using these. I love using just our stock photos because all these photos are, of course, free to use, but they're really high quality. So they're going to look good on any screen size. So that's why I always like to just pull from our photos there. But again, lots of options for choosing those. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to go into the settings right here. So I'm going to click on settings. And then the trip name I'm going to give it. So again, important to put the trip name because as you start building lots of trips, you want to be able to find what you're looking for easily and make sure you're sending the right ones to people. So I just dropped in Western Mediterranean cruise for the Smith family. And then I am going to select a date. So since we're working with cruises, we typically always know the date here, but if you don't know the date, or if this is like a proposal for another type of trip and you don't know the date yet, you can leave that date blank and it'll just say day 1, day 2, day 3, and so on. But in this case, I do know the cruise. So I'm going to go ahead and select the date here. Now, you can also use this area, this pricing. Oops, I accidentally changed it. You can use this pricing field here if you need to. I'm going to come back to that. But there are many different ways that you can put pricing in, which we'll cover. But I also just want to throw in this little snippet of a description just because this appears at the top of the trip. So this is a good spot if you ever want to write like a custom message to them and be like, this is what I'm recommending and why, whatever it might be. You can put that in there. But otherwise, I'm just going to go ahead and save those changes. And now we have the basic information in here of the date, the name, the photo. And now we can start adding information. So we can actually start adding all the main stuff. So I'm going to start off strong here and do the number one item, which is cruise. So we're going to add the cruise first. Now, here's what's really cool. If you do not know about this feature, your mind is about to be blown, but we actually have a cruise database built into Travefy. Now, here's how it works. And it's nice because you don't have to have it like booked. You can just look up a cruise. So here's how this works. So first of all, I am going to want to be in the day that this cruise is embarking or disembarking from. So that's going to be on May 7th. So I just added a couple days so I can get down to May 7th. So now I'm going to click on new event. And so this is where you add these events at. So if you're new to Travefy, you're always going to come over here, click new event, choose what type of event you're adding. And then sometimes we have different ways to add stuff. And then you can just go from there. So first one is obviously that cruise. So I'm just going to click the cruise option right here. Now, here's the cool part. We have a database of all of the major ocean and river cruise lines in here. And so these are all, as you can see, I'm scrolling through, again, all of those major and ocean river cruise lines are right in here. Now, the one that we're adding today is Norwegian. So I'm going to go ahead and type in Norwegian cruise line. You can see that populate. And then we can also choose what ship is it. So for this one, it is the Epic. So it's going to be Norwegian Epic. Now our system's going to say, okay, this is what we have for embarking on May 7th. So you can see here that there's a few different options. So we do list out, if it's a shorter version, I'm going to choose the 9-day version of this cruise. And then I'm just going to say get itinerary. Now you can check it out and just double check, make sure this is the right itinerary that you want to add, because once I add this, it's going to add all of those ports of call into all of the days for me. So look at this. This is incredible. Look at all this information that gets added. We have deck plans. So these are like photos of deck plans in here. We have, when it's arriving, departing these ports, when it's, if it's literally just at sea that day, it'll tell you that as well. It'll have just information about when it's stopping at places. I mean, it's so cool. Look at, and here's like an at sea version, but look at this. I mean, this is so much already that only took a second to do. You could literally just like send this if you want. I mean, this would still look pretty cool because it has, all these deck plans, these photos of the places, all that good stuff. But of course, we are definitely going to add more to this because we want to sell this. So really, really cool. So I'm going to show you some things you can do here. So we already got a lot of information that just pulled in about the ship. But one thing that's really cool we've seen users do before is they'll actually create an event manually and that just make it about like a meet your ship. So it's a really high level overview of the ship itself. So I want to do that just to show you, give you this idea. So to do this, I'm just going to say new event. And I'm going to choose an info event because that's what this is. This is just a quick little information about this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to title it. I'm going to copy and paste this, just meet your ship, Norwegian Epic. And then I literally I'm copying and pasting this from the website. So I'm just pulling it from here. But if you've actually been on this ship, this is a really good time to actually put in your own stuff, like maybe put in your favorite restaurants, your favorite things, just customize it further. You can do all of that. But one thing you can do that you'll see me do a few times throughout today is you can also add photos and videos to any event, which is the most absolute game-changing thing you can do for a quote or a proposal, because it's going to bring this to life. So to do that, you're just going to click into the multimedia section and you're going to find this on every event. And when you click in here, you'll see that, again, I can add free stock photos that are in Travefy. So you can do that again. You could upload your own. You can also, pull from a website, but you can also, which I'm doing right now, is I'm adding a video from YouTube. Now, this is really cool. If you go to YouTube or Vimeo, you can just grab the URL, the share link of that video, and just copy and paste it in here, and we pull it over. And look at this. We have it right here. And you'll see it at the end, what it looks like for the client, but it's so cool. It's really awesome that you can just do that. And there's usually always a video out there for it, usually just professionally done, very nicely done from the supplier. So use those. It's really cool, or your own if you have those too.
One other thing I want to do is I also want to copy, I can copy some pictures from the actual website. So I have the website open here and you can see I just went to their image gallery. And if I open a photo, I can right click and copy it. And I apologize. I don't think you can see me actually right clicking it, but I'm just right clicking, copying it, and then I'm just pasting it right in here. I'm right clicking and pasting it in. But that's a really easy way to add photos from the website. So just FYI on that. That's a lot of people will do that. So I could add more, but for the sake of time, I'm just going to go ahead and leave it to these two. And I'm going to say save changes. And now I have this really cool, just real quick little event about the ship. Now, another thing about this, which we are going to talk about even further here in a bit, is you have what's called a library where you can save information to reuse over and over again. Now, when you create content like this Meet Your Ship, this can be used on any trip that is relevant for this. So if you create something like this, consider adding it to your library. And you can do that just by clicking these little three dots, click Save to Library, and then you can save it in your library. So when you're building a new trip in the future, come over here on the right-hand side, search for it, and then drag and drop it right in. So really great tip there that just help, again, save a lot of time when you're building these. Another thing I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to rearrange this a little bit. I'm going to move this to the top just because it's a little bit smaller, easy to read and digest. So I'm just going to put that on the top there. But there we have it, pretty cool. Just a quick way to just add your own, extra expertise in there. So now another one you're probably wondering is how do I add different cabin options when this is a quoted proposal? So there's different ways you could do it. I mean, you could add it in this event itself. You could do that. Another option, which I'm going to do as an example, is I'm going to create a new event. So if I say new event here, and then I'm going to click activity. So I'm going to put activity in here. And then in here, I can go ahead and put the cabin options and pricing. So I'm going to put cabin options and pricing. And then I can also put like any notes in here that you want. So like I might say, below are some options I've selected for you. Now, here's something really awesome. So we added probably about maybe not a full year ago, maybe it already has been over a year, can't remember. But this seemed like such a small feature to add that just like was totally our users were like, thank you. So this is really cool. This table option right here. So now you can add in a table. This is really going to help you out if you have different things to add, like pricing breakdowns, or if there's groups and you want to put like different, Scott said, who loves tables? Yes. Yeah. Tables are amazing. They're so good. They're so simple, yet so powerful. And what's cool here is like, I'm just going to do an example. I'm going to throw in two different options for them. And notice how you can do like different formatting here. You can also add links. So if you wanted to add a link to say like, here, view more information about this, copy and paste it in, you could do that. You can also like highlight this too, like if you want to do that. But look at how easy that just makes it look. So it's just, look at how simple. It's just really nice. It's just so broken down very easily. And again, use that for many other options, but really good when you're breaking down that pricing.
And quick question that Brenda asked,
Yes.
and I think it was just an accident. The category of the event for cabin option, I think it's classified as an activity right now, but you could just switch that to like lodging or cruise or something like that. So I think that was just a misclick in there. So that's all it was.
A misclick. I actually totally have that on my notes that I was not supposed to click that one, but thank you for catching that. Yeah, but that's a cool thing is with those little icons you see, you can change that. So you can see like when I change, if I just wanted to say cruise, now it has that little cruise icon. So yeah, really good point there. But yeah, so really, easy way just to add those extra things there. Now, another thing I want to add are when you are talking about like add-ons or excursions, things like that. So to add those, different ways that you can do that as well. So I'm going to add one actually on May 8th here. So I'm going to come in here
And I'm going to add one manually so you can see how I do this. So to add an excursion manually, you'll just click the new event button again. And in this case, you could choose cruise. I'm going to choose activity because that is a little more of what this would be. But again, you could choose cruise if you wanted. But basically, I just went to their website, Norwegian's website, and just looked at excursions and want to throw some ideas for them because again, like why not upsell? You cannot sell what your clients can't see. So it's really easy just to add some of these in. And again, I'm copying and pasting these from the website. So pretty easy. And then of course, if you want to add links or anything, you can do that. We can also include more information because it probably would be helpful to know like, okay, how long is this going to be? And of course, pricing, what will this cost? So let's just say I'm going to add some pricing in here as well. And again, I can also add some photos. So I want to go in here. I'm going to go into our multimedia section. And I'm actually going to click on the website option this time. And I have a link to the website about this particular excursion. And if I drop it in, it's going to find photos for me. Now, sometimes you might just get a few. Sometimes you get like a really ton of them, but it just gives you something to add. If I just want to add these two in there, you can do that. So pretty easy, just adding those. But there you have it. Now you have this excursion. And again, I'm gonna drag and drop it into the middle because that's when that's happening. But then another thing, so you heard, I already talked about the library. I touched on that, but I'm going to touch on it again because again, that library is going to be very, very helpful. If you ever want to save excursion options into your library like this, I could save that into my library. I actually have one already saved in here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to find it. So it is cans in here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drag and drop this in. And so now when I drag and drop this in, this is the information I already had in here. But maybe if you need to edit anything or add like, this is why you would love this, you can do that and it won't affect what's saved in your library. So it makes it really nice to just have content built in and then just pull it over, edit it to, customize it for your clients. So really cool way to do that. So super easy way to do that. Now, another thing I want to talk about too, because I saw one question already about this is how do you add pre-cruise information? Now you can see that I actually added these days before. So I knew starting this trip that it would truly be starting on Friday, May 5th. If you're building this and you realize, oh, I need to add a day at the beginning, or your client decides to add a day at the beginning, really easy to add that day. All you do is go down at the bottom here, click new day, and then you're just going to drag and drop it up to the top. And then it'll just go ahead and add itself in there to these top days. So really easy. I know that can happen often with those if they decide to book more at the beginning, which is awesome. So you're like, of course you can book more before this. So that's how you would do that. So really easy change there. But now the couple things that I do want to add here together for the pre-cruise is the flight and the hotel. So for the flight, all you're going to do is, again, similar to the cruise, you're going to go into the day that you want to add that flight. And then you're just going to click new event and you're going to choose flight. Now, if you've never seen this before, this is amazing. And one of the coolest tools around right here, because what you can do is you can just type in the airline, type in the flight number. So it doesn't have to be booked. This is great for those quotes proposals. It sees what it is, what that flight is. We can confirm that is the right flight. So I'm going to add it to my itinerary. And here it adds it in here. So, and you can see it notices, what day it needs to drop in because this actually did cross into another day. So it intuitively knew that. The other really great thing, the biggest part of this is that this is going to track the flights. Now, I want to make a note that I am in a proposal. If you're in a proposal state for your trip, it's not going to track the flights until it turns into an itinerary. So you won't see it right now, but if you are in an itinerary, you would see a little green check mark right here. And so it is important to watch for that. Make sure that you see that green check mark once it is an actual booked trip. And that way it is going to update you and the client every time there's a change. So if it gets delayed or
hopefully not canceled, but if that happens, we will alert you. We'll alert you and your client. It's constantly updating. Same with gates. It will update you for that as well. So it's really, really great. So we can chat a little bit more about that when we get into the app side too. But it's so nice that it can do that. I know a lot of people, I already see one says, love real-time updates. Yeah, it's very helpful. So know that that's happening in the back end there with those. Now, another thing here is the hotel. If you want to add that hotel, they're staying one night here. So I'm going to go ahead and in Saturdays when they would check in, and then I'm going to click new event. And then I'm going to choose lodging. So I'm going to choose lodging. Now, what's really great is, again, we have a database of hotel information that is just pulling from Google right now. So you can have different things. Now, we also do sync with, I want to mention this actually. We sync with, what is it, Scott? Well, Virtuoso and then select hotels.
Yep. If you are part of Travel Leaders, we do have the select hotel content integrated in.
Yeah. Select was a word I cannot pick out in my brain. So we have those, and you can turn those on in your account. So if there's any questions about that, let us know. But that's really great. If you are Travel Leaders or Virtuoso, you will have access to those. So then it pulls in the amenity information from them specifically. But otherwise, you can just also use just our database here, where I just dropped in the name of the hotel, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get this information straight from Travefy. So you have, like the website, the address, phone number, all of that. Now you can of course edit this. So if you want to like remove out the email or the URL or something, you can totally do that. But then you can also choose like when is a checkout date. And then that way it will automatically drop in a separate event for when it's checking out of there. But otherwise, you'll get this right in here. It'll just say check in. Now, of course, we could leave it this way, but we want to add more because it's so easy just to add more information to, again, like really make the clients excited for this going here. It's a special place. So I'm just going to go ahead and drop in, just again, copying and paste from the supplier. Of course, that multimedia section, for sure add that. I am going to do the website in this case. So I'm just dropping in that URL of the website. And then it'll take a second here because this one has quite a lot. So you'll see, look at all these photos. So sometimes it'll be like, whoa, look at all of these, which is awesome because then you can pick and choose. You can say, okay, I want, pick these ones. And it's great too, because you can pick the pictures that this client might specifically be really interested in. So then that way you can customize that. And then you just have these beautiful photos. Really easy. And look, that just took me a second to do. So look at how much more that just added. And then of course, if you need to add like pricing, things like that, you could add that in there too. But just so easy, so easy. Now we're almost done with this, but there is one more thing that I want to add that again is really, really awesome for especially cruises and quotes and proposals is we have destination content built into Travefy that you can use. We call it city guides. Now, to use city guides and to see how to add those, you are just going to come over on the right-hand side where my library is. So that's where this is. And there's a button here where it says city guide. So I can click that. Now you can type the name of the city you're looking for. Now we have over 625 different destinations worldwide available that you can choose from. So what you can do is I am going to add it into for Naples, which is May 12th. So right here, let's say, maybe they're not interested in doing, any excursions here. They just want to go on their own. So this is a great opportunity for you to just drop in the city guide. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start typing the name of the place. And you can see here, so we have two, we have Florida and Italy. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drag and drop this entire guide in. Now what's happening as this is loading is basically it's going to add all of these sections because I added the whole guide. Now, sometimes this might be too much and you don't need all of this. So that's where you can also pick and choose. You can say, I just want, to add just the city, maybe I don't want everything, or maybe just adding do and see. It's totally up to you. You can also customize this. So if you want to edit anything, you can remove out some,
them, add your own stuff. But yeah, really easy to just add that. But look at how much this, I hear this all the time from users that they're like, these are one of the game changers for me and my clients. And my clients are like, holy crap, I can't believe you spent all this time putting it together. And you're like, I didn't spend that much time. So that's a cool thing. It's pretty cool, really easy. Another little pro tip here is, especially with like ports of call, if there's just like smaller ports that are happening, or if we don't have them listed, you can also always create your own. If you're ever interested in that, you can create your own city guide by clicking the new event button. And then you will do, oops, there we go. And then click info. And then, hold on one second. Oh, I think it's, there we go. There it is. You can click city guide, and then you can go ahead and actually just create your own, save it to your library. And then that way, when you do need it again, it's ready to go. So that's a good pro tip. I see that a lot with those cruises. So then that way you can keep it focused to like places near the port or something. So really cool idea to do there. But okay, so that is the proposal, my friends, right there. But I do want to note in a couple different things you can do. So some little bonus tips and tricks here is when you are adding pricing, if you ever want to find a way to just break it down really easily, I would suggest using this information and document section. This is a great area that if you ever want to put like trip insurance or, anything that has to do with the trip as a whole, or like a breakdown of pricing. So you could do like build out that table in here, and then that way you can break down the pricing for everything. You can do that. Just a lot of different ways to add that in, and that's a good one. It just keeps it really organized and just more easy to view in that. So little tip there. But now let's see what this is looking like for the client. So this is the biggest part because we want this to look awesome. So first, you can always check it out by just clicking the preview button in the top right-hand corner here. And then you can see this is what it looks like. So you literally just grab this link. You can share that link. They can view this on any device, whether it's mobile, tablet, computer. It's always going to be scaled to fit. You can see, everything here. Like here are those photos that we added. Here's this video. Check this out, by the way. So cool. See that? See how it stays in the frame? So it doesn't like take them out anywhere, which is so cool. And then you can just see, again, they can look at deck plans, they can see the pricing, all of that good stuff. Now, what's also really cool about this is there is a chat option built into this. So if your clients, especially during the proposal quoting process, if they have questions, all that different stuff, you can always, just chat with them right on here, right on the screen. So it's just really good. It's real-time updates. So if they say like, oh, can you remove out that option? I don't want that. And you can be like, sure, and remove it. They'll see it right away. So it's really nice using that trip chat if you decide to use that. And then also I did want to mention, you can also send this to your client really easily just by clicking the send button. And then of course you can get that trip link, which that's what we were just viewing. Or you can also email it. And if you email it, it'll say that it'll say your name and everything on it. If they do reply back to that email, it'll go to you. So you can have your conversation in that email thread if you need. But this will be really nice because it gives them a button to view their trip, which is then going to bring them here. So it'll always bring them back to this view. And then when they decide, the really exciting part, when they decide I'm going to approve this, all they have to do is click that button, type in their name and email, approve it, and that's it. And then what's going to happen next is you're going to receive an email letting you know that they've approved it. And then they also receive an email with the PDF copy of what they approved. So that's what I love about this is that once it gets approved, you are getting a copy of it that you can always go back and access. So if you come in here, you can click that little paperclip icon there, and it'll actually open up the PDF copy and then know that your client has a copy too. Really handy. And then the other great thing is that this converted into an itinerary all on its own. So you don't have to recreate this. You can just work out of the same exact itinerary, this trip, and then the link doesn't change. So your clients always know where to go in there as well. And then you can see when we preview this now, you can see that we have the app option. Your client can get a PDF, all of that good stuff. So really, really easy for both you and the client there. Now, the cool thing though is if you need to start editing anything, all you do, very easy to do, come in here, start removing stuff. Like if you no longer need these pricing options, just click in to edit the event, come down to the bottom, click those 3 little dots. And then, and by the way, I'll mention this because I saw a question about this. How do you save things to the library? Right here. This is where it is. You can click that save to library button. But you can also delete it. You can duplicate it, but we can just delete it. But that's basically what you're going to do. And then if you need to start adding in like confirmation numbers, you can do that as well. So it's really easy to just start adding the actual booking information in there, which is really nice. Now, the other thing that I want to talk about was I also want to talk about how your clients can view this, like what their experience looks like on here. So again, they can view it right here, with this URL. They can download a PDF copy if they want. You also can download the PDF for them and print it off and hand it to them. But the other really nice thing, especially when you're traveling on a cruise, is getting that app. The reason why is because this app, it's very simple. All they have to do is click this app button at the top. Now, since I'm on a computer, it's telling me, it's trying to get me to get it on my phone. But if I were opening this on my phone, I would click that app button and it would take me directly to the App Store, whether it's the Android, the Play Store, or Google Play Store, or the App Store. And then I will be downloading what's called the Trip Plans app. So this is what the traveler uses. They use the Trip Plans app. Now, this link right here, this link, and I'm going to send this to everybody. You can actually share this webpage with your clients. That's what it's built for. And it's going to walk through it and explain like, why should they have this app? Because you're going to get those updates in here. You can chat with you and the client in here. But we also have a video and just a step-by-step instructions on how they can download it and get it on their phone. Very simple, but just kind of helps, that they have all the steps they need right here. Now, the other thing that's really great about this is there is an option you can see in this picture here that there's available offline. So when you're in the app, or when your client's in the app, they can toggle it on the available offline button. And that way it downloads everything. So even if there's documents and attachments that you've added, it'll download all of that. So that way when the Wi-Fi is not great, or if they're not connected to Wi-Fi or using data, they can still access everything on there. So just really awesome that, again, really big with the cruises, especially when you're getting on and off ports, and just nice to have access to all of that in the palm of your hand. So really great there. But I do also want to make another really important note that the Trip Plans app is for your clients. Now, you want to download what's called the Travefy Pro app. Now, the Travefy Pro app, you can just go to whether Android or Apple, go into the App Store and get Travefy Pro. And then that will give you the access to all of your clients' itineraries. You'll also be getting updated for flight notifications. If your client chats you, you can get in there and you can chat them back. There's a lot of things in there that you can do. So definitely get that app if you don't have it on your phone already. So now one other bonus tip that I almost forgot about, and I really want to share it because if you are familiar, if you're not brand new to Travefy, you might have seen this that we just released not too long ago, is tasks and reminders. And it's so awesome. If you use these, it really can help you out. Just stay organized, streamline your process. But why I want to mention this is because when you do have a new trip that you're working on, or once that something's been approved, you can always create trip task lists. So what you can do is you can see here. So I can click on this trip and I can click on tasks and I can start adding things like, of course, number one task, like book the cruise. So you can create things like that and you can set reminders. You can set a time. So if you want to make sure to get it before that time runs out, you can do that. But one other thing you can do is in your library, So here's also, if anyone new to the library, you can view your entire library by clicking into your library from your main page. And this is where you can add items in here, but this is also where you can like delete things, clean stuff up, or just see everything you have. But in here, you can actually create task lists. So in here, you can create a task list. And what you can do when you create that is you can create a task list for yourself for like new cruise booking. So we can say, let's say like new cruise booking task list. And then you can start adding tasks like, or let's say like, because that might change, but let's say passport information from client. Or you can put it more eloquently in here, but basically what you can do is you can put that, and then you can say, okay, I'm going to need this at least 90 days before the trip start date. So you can set it up so then that way it'll automatically figure out what date you need to be doing these things based on that trip start date, which is really cool. So I highly recommend that by creating yourself a task list, and then you can always just import them when you're ready. Just go into the tasks and then click import task list. And then you can just say that one right there. And then you can also, and see how it says now, February 4th, I need to do that in there. And then also, I'm due. That's why it's due. It was due before already. But then you can also do one-off tasks. So really cool, really awesome things in there. And how you see those reminders, by the way, because I just saw that question come in. There's two ways. One, if you have that app on your phone, if you have the Travefy Pro app on your phone, you can see your reminders in there and you can set tasks, which I love because if you're on the go and you think of something, you can do that. But you can also come in here and you will see up at the top where you have your tasks. So you can see I have tasks in here already, and you can just view all of them. So it will like show you like, hey, trying to grab your attention that there's stuff that's due in there, which is really cool. Okay, so last thing I want to do, and then we will get into Q&A here, is for marketing. And I'm going to talk about this more on the Facebook Live. That's why we did the Facebook Live, because we're like, there's going to be so much. So we need to have an overflow, into there. We'll ride the wave to Facebook. There we go. So one thing that I did want to mention too is if you ever want to share these trips or like create an itinerary of a cruise because you're trying to promote a cruise, you could build one in here because again, we have the database of the cruises, so it's really easy to build something quick that looks awesome. And then you can always share that link. So like this link that's in my toolbar or my little bar there, you could copy and paste that into like Facebook, social media, and it looks really good. So it'll look really nice. So just know that I see that a lot where people will put that in there and they'll be like, oh, now booking, like, let me know if you're interested. Lots of different things. So, and again, you can also build a landing page, do more, which we will talk about after this on Facebook. So we'll get more into that. But with that being said, I'm going to take a breath and I'm going to see what questions do we have, Scott? I'll see too if you.
Sorry, I was answering questions and I couldn't click the unmute button. So
that's okay. I do see you sent some too.
There are a lot of questions, so many that I can't keep up, which is fantastic. You guys have excellent questions, many of which are not simple responses. So thanks for your patience.
Keeping us on our toes.
While we're digging through those. So we do have a lot of questions coming in. Stephanie and I will try to get through as many as possible. But if we do not get to your question in time, feel free to reach out to our customer support team in the live chat inside your account or email professional@travefy.com. You can also go to our support center by clicking the help option in the top right corner of your account, where you can schedule a training session live with our support team. They're fantastic. They're awesome. And they have beautiful, friendly faces, and they're always happy to help you with that. So just definitely know that you can reach out that way as well. And per Audrey's question in the chat, how can we access the Facebook group? Well, I'll actually post that link in there because we also want to invite you over to the Facebook group to join that. There's an incredible community of travel advisors. We just launched this a few months ago. I'm not exaggerating. We're like almost 5,000 members of the Facebook group already. So that's incredible. But definitely head over to the Facebook group because a lot of people do an awesome job answering questions of each other, sharing tips. and also sharing content and things like that. So I just threw the link to the Facebook group in the chat, but jump over there, join that as well. Don't miss your post-cruise webinar excursion with Captain Steezy. So.
Yes, I love it. Oh, it's going to be so good. Oh, yeah. And I'm getting choked up. And then
I'm getting so emotional.
I'm so excited. And yeah, so it'll be good. And it'll also be good. I will be able to see questions too. So hopefully I can help like answer those also in there. But yeah, come over there. But to answer a couple questions here that I did see, one is from Sam. Where can I find the cruise lines that are integrated with Travefy? So you can actually find those. We have an FAQ. So if you go to travefy.com/support, check out our FAQs. And then I think if you just type in supplier, they should come in here, which suppliers are integrated. You will see cruise suppliers. I'll drop this link in. Let's see. There we go. So they will all be listed in here, as you can see. Quite a bit of them, which is awesome. So yes, you can find all those there.
Awesome. Well, while you're looking for another question, I'll take a question from Kim and Lydia. Both ask this: what happens if the ports change on a cruise itinerary? Do cruise itineraries auto update after you import them? And the answer to this is the cruise itinerary data that's coming into Travefy typically comes from the cruise line's marketing database. So it's not like an operational database. So in our experience, it's generally speaking, they create those cruise itineraries and then they stay static. So even if they change ports of call, it does not update. And I'm talking about like last minute updates when you have like, a few weeks out, those types of things. But especially once you import the itinerary, it will not auto update if the cruise line makes any changes. Now, having said that, it's really easy to go and make those changes. So we've all been through this where due to a political circumstance, a current event, or a natural disaster or weather event, a cruise line might change a port or drop a port altogether. It's really easy. You can go into the cruise itinerary and then actually just delete out that port of call and swap in, add a new one. Relatively easy. Takes a minute or two at most to do that. And you can also add in some more content, photos, things like that to enrich it and make it look more professional that way. But just to confirm, once you import it, it doesn't auto update.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And as Scott mentioned too, it's pretty easy. You can just come in here and you don't even have to delete this. You could just reword what this says if you need, or like if you need to shift things to other days, you can also just drag and drop them. So everything's just drag and droppable, if that's a word. And so you can just move things around really easily in there. Okay, so there was another question here that was really good from Sheila. It said, I have a group with different origins and short excursions chosen. What is the easiest way to make that work? Here is such a good way to make that work, Sheila. So there is something that we have called group tagging. And this is really great when you do have multiple different things going on. And basically how group tagging works is when you create the trip, you can add all the information in there. And then if you come up here, click on more at the top and then click people. And then you can add people right in here. So you could just go ahead and type in their name and email. If you have them in your CRM already, your contacts in Travefy, it'll start to populate their name. But like, let me add one here. So I'll add this person in here. And then you can see, okay, now they're in here. And then basically once they're added on the trip, you can go into any event that they are specifically part of and then go into edit it. And then down here, there's always this option where it says people, and we automatically just put it as everybody. But if you need it to be on a specific person, you can just put their name. And then that way, see now that they are tagged in this. So now what happens is when you send this trip to everybody all at once, they're going to see their specific version of it. Now, one thing you can do in here is in the settings, you can also decide right here, this group trips part, we automatically set the visibility as private. So that means that they're only going to see what they are tagged in. But if this is like a family and they want to be able to see other people's events, you can choose public, and then that way they can look at their version versus someone else's and all that good stuff. So really, really easy to do there.
Yep. Another question from Kathleen. How often are the city guides updated? Can more guides be added? So the city guides stay pretty up to date. We work with a content provider that actually sources most of that content from local tourism boards and destination marketing organizations. So all that to say, it's pretty up to date. It's pretty tried and true tested. Having said that, one quick tip is it doesn't always include the latest, greatest, hottest new things that just opened 2 weeks ago, because most of it's coming from the local tourism board. A lot of times it's very tried and true types of things that will appear in there. So just an FYI with that. If you see anything that's like wildly out of date, and we've seen that with COVID, just with restaurants or different businesses changing or closing, email our support team. We can definitely reach out to the content provider that we license that from to ask them to update that. But it's also really easy to update that in the city guide. You can delete, change things once you import it. But then you can also create your own city guide. So within Travefy, it's really easy to create your own city guides as well. In our library sharing page, we're starting to post and share some city guide or destination content that our city guide database doesn't have in there. So I posted this link in the chat in the webinar. One of the common areas that we hear about a lot are Caribbean islands and ports. So there's one in there that's shared, as well as Mexico resorts, Caribbean and Hawaiian resorts in there. You can copy these to your library in Travefy and then reuse them. So if you have any content also that you've created that you think would be helpful to share out there, send us an email or send us a message in the Facebook group. We'd love to feature it in that library sharing gallery for you.
Yeah, no, super awesome there. So I'm gonna take two questions here really quick, because one, I can't believe I always forget like the most important thing of how much is this is somebody had asked that like how much, and I saw for like a small agency. So basically how Travefy works, and again, you get access to everything, so there's not like any add-ons, but we work off subscription pricing where you can subscribe annually or monthly. Monthly is $39 a month. Annually you do save 20%, so it makes it $31 a month. Now, if you do have a team, so I know someone mentioned I have a small agency. If you have a team, what you can do is you can create a team in Travefy. And so basically what that means is you would be the admin, and then you can invite people in. And so then they each have their own login, they have their own account, but then you actually get to share the library as a team. You can collaborate on trips together as a team. But then the biggest part about being on a team is you also get discounted pricing. So you can get discounted pricing just by adding one other team member. So, and it increases based on how many you add. So if you add 2 to 4 team members, like 15%, and then 5 adds 20%. So it just increases from there. So if you're interested or something, definitely, I would also recommend going to our support page again and scheduling a demo, and we can walk you through and tell you, you know, what it would cost for your team and stuff, or shoot us an email, all that good stuff. So definitely, and also a free trial. So go to travefy.com and you get a 10-day free trial, and you can test out all of this.
Yeah. Jump into a free trial. Our sales team, we automatically connect you in with our sales team once you create a free trial, and you can then schedule a one-on-one demo. So if you have any really specific or unique questions, need help getting started, they can definitely help you with that. Now and this is, we're getting into pro tip area here, Stephanie. Mm-hmm. How do you create a proposal if you're presenting different cruise options? Well, I'm so glad you asked that.
I know.
I'm actually going to send or throw out a link in the chat here that shows a cruise proposal with options in here. Now, having said that, you can generate these pretty quickly, pretty easily if you grab information from the cruise supplier's website. Travefy, the way that we import the cruise itineraries, it's pretty complex. So I would say you have two options. One, like you see on screen here, you're copy and pasting in a description of the cruise, copy and paste the itinerary in there, throw in some ship information. This is designed to be very high level so that you can try to get an idea from a client which direction they want to head. Then you can start to get into more detail. Now, the other option would be you could actually create multiple different cruise itineraries and import each cruise to that, and then just copy and paste the shareable links for each cruise into an email to send to a client, so that then they can see the full details of that in there. So it really depends on the level of depth that you want to go through, depending on where you're at in the sales conversation. Do you know really precisely what the client's looking for and how much detail they need, or something very high level for a very preliminary sales conversation that way?
Yeah, that's a really good, and this is beautifully done. And that's a nice thing too, is it is pretty easy to put together actually, because you're just kind of just making one event and just putting a bolted list in there. But yeah, so multiple ways you can do that.
Yeah, and that proposal that I just shared in the chat, the option is turned on so you can save a copy of this to your account if you want to save it as a sample in the future.
Ooh, look at that. Nice. Scott just giving us so much free stuff. It's awesome. Love it. Okay, let's see. I think I can do one more. Let's see. A lot of them were about like the proposals. Let's see. Is there any other ones you're seeing?
I'm trying to catch up. I've been talking too much. So, I see a few different questions in terms of suppliers and integrations. Like, hey, I don't see a cruise line like Explorer that I work with or others. Send us an email, professional@travefy.com. Let us know if there's specific suppliers. Can be any. Doesn't have to be cruises. Could be excursions, activities, tours, FITs, whatever that might be. Send us an email. What we found works really well is if you contact that supplier and CC us just with professional@travefy.com on that email as an introduction. Tell your supplier why you'd like to see an integration, why it will help you sell more of their product. That's an important point to mention. You want to sell more of their product and work more efficiently. We do those integrations all the time. We're happy to add in more integrations in the future, but we found your voice as the travel advisor is hugely impactful.
It really is. Yeah. So really awesome. Someone just said, it was Danielle. Hi, Danielle. Said integrate Project Expedition. It is integrated. So it's in there actually. So in there, if you go new event, and then, so this is also where it gets kind of interesting, where we have bookings. So we do have tours, which I didn't even get into, which we have a tour database as well. But then we also do work directly with a handful of suppliers, where the difference is when you come in here, so let's say Project Expedition, you're actually going to sign in with your account and then sync it together. So then it brings in the actual, booking for your client. So that is just super awesome. Really cool in there. So shut the front door. Yes, I know. It's crazy.
So I also saw this, not just Project Expedition, but also Viator. So if you have an agent account with Viator, we have Viator integrated. It's a little bit different. You have to actually go out to the Viator website, find the product code in the address bar at the top, and you copy and paste that over, and it will import all the product details. So we love building those integrations and incorporating them so that it's faster and easier for you to do that.
Yes. Yeah. And actually, one last thing, because I was going to show, because I saw someone asking, we had talked about like Travel Leaders Select and then Virtuoso, but also with Viator, how you turn all of these on in your account. Just go into your, click on your name in the top right-hand corner and click account. And then when you come in here, you'll do linked accounts here. And then this is where you just can toggle this on. Same thing with Virtuoso and Select. You toggle it on, you connect, and that's all you do. You do it one time, and then you'll start seeing that information come in. So really easy there. But just want to say, thank you so much again. This is awesome. And I'm not done yet. That's the cool thing. I'll be heading over to Facebook.
Steezy's just getting warmed up.
I'm just getting warmed up, everybody. Here we go. And again, it will be on. So if you go to our Facebook page or the group, I'm going to have it streamed to both. And just give me a couple minutes to get set up, because usually I always want to go like right away on, and then it takes a couple seconds for me to figure Facebook Live out, but I'll do it. I promise. I'll be on there and you'll see me, but it might just take a few minutes. So just bear with me.
You got to go pound a Red Bull and then jump on.
Gotta go pound. Oh yeah. I got some Diet Coke here. Just chug it and then Facebook Live it up. It's going to get crazy.
That was not a paid endorsement for Coca-Cola, by the way.
We're Travefy sponsor. I love it. but again too, this was recorded, so I will get on YouTube as well. But hit us up with your questions too in either the Facebook group, but also just shout out to our support team. They will help you and will answer all those questions you have.
Great job, Stephanie. Thank you for taking us on this sailing and excursion today.
Man, I really need to get a actual better one of those. But thank you everyone for bearing with us.
Putting into port here.
Putting into port. Well, everyone have a good day. Set sail onto the horizon into beautiful itineraries and proposals for your clients.
Yes, beautiful. I can feel the sunset and the ocean breeze right now.
I know, right? So beautiful. Thanks everyone again. And thanks Scott for joining us as well.
My pleasure.
Yes.
My pleasure. I'll always be your wingman.
Thank you. Love it. All right. Thanks everyone.
See ya.